So glad to see people here in person as well as the love stream. Well, I guess we get to imagine them. And I'm intending that any announcements I miss, they will be handled by others. So let's begin with the song, Jump. We excuse Rick and Shemaine and Del Ann because they are on family activities today. So you get to sing, I get to hear you a little more today. Shall we go? Okay. Come on.
I trust God in me. All of life is here for me. I take a leap of faith and see. All I want comes easily. I trust God in me. All of life is here for me. I take a leap of faith and see. All I want comes easily. I jump into my life, abandon fear and strife, wake up by desire, jump into the fire. I'm flying higher. I trust God in me. All of life is here for me. I take a leap of faith and see. All I want comes easily. I trust God in me. All of life is here for me. I take a leap of faith and see. All I want comes easily. I jump into my life, abandon fear and strife, wake up by desire, jump into the fire. I'm flying higher. I trust God in me. All of life is here for me. I take a leap of faith and see. All I want comes easily. I trust God in me. All of life is here for me. I take a leap of faith and see. All I want comes easily. I trust God in me.
Happy Sunday from the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Linda Brewer, and I welcome all of you who have made the trek to be here with us this morning in person, and all of you who are live streaming from home. We're so glad you're part of this community, however you are. Our practitioner sharing a reading and our prayer this morning is Farrell Zeman, and our practitioner holding high watch is Katie Hernandez. Throughout this service, Katie will be in prayer and holding a sacred consciousness as we share together this very special time. And before I go any further, I want to acknowledge our dear Leslie Monroe, who has really stepped up today, covering not only Rick as music director, but Shemaine and Del Ann's vocals. Thank you so much. And kudos for Corinne Cummings, our lovely flautist, Drew Binkard, our bassist. What do you call it? Is that right? Our bassist for life, no. And Ricardo Romero, our drummer. Anyone's here for the first time, you'll think, gosh, what an amazing band. And we're at just a little over half strength this morning, so stay tuned. Our center is a spiritual community that teaches a philosophy for daily living based on spiritual principles and practices that are universal among religions. We honor every pathway by which people seek to know and connect with the divine, and we work on our individual consciousness so that we can help make the world a better place. Let's all join together right now in saying our purpose statement. We are an open, welcoming community, celebrating our divinity, loving our humanity, and nurturing our journeys of spiritual discovery. Thank you so much. Please remember that the one place you can always get the latest information about what's happening at our center or contact us for prayer or for any other reason, or to read about all these amazing people, except Raj and Rob, who still haven't given me their bios to go on the website, and I will continue to mention that until they do. But otherwise, you can find out about all the people who serve here and keep things going pretty much. So please check that out, and that is at www.spirituallyfree.org. If anyone's here for the very first time this morning, if you're willing to raise your hand or stand, we would love to welcome you. Anybody here? Back here? Here? Hi. Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us. Y'all, did you see who that is? These two people right there, that woman in the back? Please be sure to say hello to them after the service. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. I know you could be anywhere on the planet. Thanks for choosing this place. Our theme this month is The Soul's Call, and our speaker this morning is our own Rob Eckman. His topic today is The Soul's Call to Freedom, which just sounds fascinating to me. And I'm going to just say that his husband Steve is with us. He hasn't been around. He's doing a master's program in Logan, and we just don't get to see him much. So we just have to have Rob speak to get Steve to show up. So thanks for being here with us. Next week, we will have Reverend Sunshine Day as our virtual speaker. This afternoon at 3 p.m., we are hosting a fundraiser for our dear friend Lorraine Horstmanshoff, who is dealing in the most incredibly positive way with stage 4 cancer. She is the embodiment of our principles in how she's dealing with this. She herself is planning to perform, along with Will Baxter and Mary Tibbs and lots of other great musicians. So please come and enjoy the concert and help Lorraine not to have financial stress added to her healing journey. You can donate in all the ways you normally do to the center, and we'll get all that money to her there. There's also a Venmo account that you can use. I've also included on the website this amazing, a link to this very amazing video that Lorraine has done about her journey, her diagnosis and her journey with cancer, and she calls it her Grand Awakening. And if you really want some inspiration, I encourage you to go and look at that. And even if you can't make the concert, if you still want to contribute to our dear friend Lorraine, you can do that. The text to give code for today for the concert is healing. So please use that. And remember, the early bird pricing for Big Sky ends at the end of the month, which is this Wednesday. So if you want to get in on that, it's time. I am so incredibly excited that we're having a candidating weekend, July 16th through 18th, with a really awesome minister, Reverend John Odden, and his wife, Joan. Saturday, the 17th, from 3 to 5, we are having a social right here. And it's a time for us to mingle and talk with Reverend John and Joan one-on-one. And it's also a time for us to hang out together, which we haven't done nearly enough of this last year. So I hope you'll come and join us for that. Then on Sunday, Reverend John will be our Sunday speaker and do a workshop after lunch. Lunch is part of the workshop. The workshop is called Reconvening, and it invites us to consider, how do we do our best to finish this pandemic interval as we come together again? What does reconvening look like for us in our families, our sacred community, and our other groups in our lives? And how can we use the principles of science of mind to invite our personal deep wisdom to come out and play as a healing asset? And there's lots more to it, so I will get that up on the website really soon. And then finally, to wrap up the weekend from 3 to 4 on Sunday, we're going to have a question and answer session so that people can ask Reverend John and Joan anything you'd like to know about their thoughts about ministry as it might relate to our center. Everyone is not only welcome, but please do plan to attend all the aspects I've just mentioned of the workshop, and then be ready to share your thoughts with leadership about Reverend John as our potential new senior minister. It's been 5 years, people. It's time. So let's, you can go on the speaker page and read lots more about Reverend John. He's a fascinating human. So, all right. And as I do always, I remind you that our center was founded on and is grounded in prayer. We have trained practitioners who use the art and science of affirmative prayer to help you with any conditions in your life, to help with healing, to help you share your gratitude with you, and to know the truth for you when you're having a difficult time doing that. You can submit a request in the lobby or on the website. And on July 11th, we will resume having our wall of prayer. Which means that during the speaker's prayer, our practitioners will line up front here, and you can come up and have a personal prayer with them. So it's been a long time, and we're looking forward to that. So now I invite you to settle in and allow Farrell's reading and the centering music to take you to that sacred place within, and then Farrell will lead us in prayer.
My reading today is called The Soul's Call for Freedom. It's by Ernest Holmes. Real freedom means that we are created in the image of perfection and let alone to and allowed to make the discovery for ourselves. Freedom of will means the ability to do, say, and think as one wishes, to express life as one personally desires. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free, Jesus taught. The infinite understanding of truth, infinite principle, is the emancipator. We are bound by our very freedom. Our free will binds us. The universe, being deductive only, cannot refuse us anything. The very force that makes us sick can heal us. As we realize our oneness with creative mind, we are released from the bondage of false thinking. We see too that freedom means liberty, but not license.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love.
And as we breathe in this moment, this precious moment, we align ourselves with that love that passes all understanding. There is only love. Anything that is not that is fear. And so we dismiss the fears, we embrace the love, and we settle into our true power, our true connection with that divine source. And we open ourselves to the promptings of that source, and we become one with it, and our lives blossom and become full of joy. And so I call that into being, releasing all those things that are of fear and claiming all those things that are of love. As we release these words into the law, knowing that it is so, and together we say, and so it is.
It's time for our community song, so I'll be listening for you. We'll sing One Day. And I love this song because I get that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of random acts of kindness going on everywhere. I believe that the light on this planet is brighter than it has ever been. And as we focus in the oneness and in love and in serving one another in joy and having fun, that we contribute to this light getting even brighter. What an awesome time to live. And that's where I'd like to keep that focus for myself. Today's mantra is, this is fun. Yes. So sing with me, One Day. 1, 2, 3.
Sometimes I lay under the moon. I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon. 'Cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. 'Cause all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for all the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. Monday.
Now we get to invite Dallas Brown to come up and play. This man is the absolute embodiment of becoming one with his instrument. And then what I experience when he plays is it brings in the oneness of all. And it sort of creates a vortex that just brings us all in. So I'm just so honored to invite him to play.
He used to come up. I used to do a service called Blessing of the Hands at the Huntsman, and Dallas came up a couple years and played flute while we had clergy from all different denominations blessing the hands of our staff. Awesome. He gives and gives and gives. Thank you, Dallas. I'm so excited about our speaker today, not just because Steve showed up with him, but because I love to hear Rob speak. I was looking at his bio and realizing that I think we're just 1 year short of you being here 25 years at our center. And I don't know how I missed you so many years, but I'm really glad I finally connected with you. Now I can't imagine the place without you. He's been here so long that he's a really fitting leader for our 50th anniversary celebration, which he has stepped up to be in charge of. And if you want to help with that, see Rob after the service. And I was checking in because on the website it said he had a 5-year-old granddaughter. And I said, okay, she's been 5 a long time. He said, she's 7 now. And he and Steve are the proud grandparents of a new 2-month-old baby grandson, boy. Yes, adorable. And I saw pictures and everything. But most of all, he's just an awesome human being who's so grounded in this philosophy, and he always shares something to make us all stop and think. Please welcome our wonderful speaker, Rob Eckman.
Hello and welcome. It's great to see you. Dallas, thank you. I carry some indigenous blood in myself and am considering the music that you shared with us to be some wind beneath my wings today in my talk. So thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for mentioning the birthday party, Linda. In my fever to get today's talk ready, I did forget to give you an announcement inviting anyone who does want to be part of the planning committee for our 50th. And what are we celebrating? We're celebrating the charter of our center, one of the original churches of religious science, as we were then known, now Centers for Spiritual Living. And we chartered 50 years ago, and now we are excited to throw a party in our own honor, and that'll be on the 28th of August, Saturday, at Murray Park. Tomorrow night we have a Zoom planning meeting, and if you are interested in joining us, please see me, and I'll share the Zoom link info with you. Today, in preparing my talk, it's always interesting to receive the instructions from home office, which are optional. We're never required to talk about any one thing, but invited to talk about what we feel strongly about. But I find it a great experience to take the material that home office gives me, and try to turn it into something. This week, talking about authenticity and being ourselves, which is such an important notion, but it can be so hard to practice in real life. For those of you who are new to our center, the Centers for Spiritual Living is a new thought church, a philosophy of life where we believe that we can change our lives by changing our thinking, plain and simple. But it's also so deep, right? And practicing it is so unique and individual for each of us. So I always take about a week to get ready for these. It's kind of a ritual of my own. I'll start early in the week and get up early and meditate and mull over the content. And then in the evening, mull it over some more and try to start to string it into a theme. And I figure if I start on Monday or Tuesday, by Thursday or Friday, if I don't have a thread of continuity, I start thinking to myself, what am I going to talk about? And in talking about authenticity, I found myself doing so much research into some of the forefathers of our philosophy that I thought, oh my gosh, why am I trying to say what they've already said? Why am I trying to reinterpret what the masters have already shared? So I'm going to be sharing some of some classic writing with you today. Carl Jung said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." Today, the topic of this talk is living our most authentic lives, to be ourselves so completely and so individually that no other person's opinions can alter the true sense of self that already resides in each of us. Now, a short history lesson on American New Thought. The American New Thought movement, of which we are a part, really began in New England with transcendentalism. Transcendentalism was a philosophy a movement that developed in the late 1820s and 1830s with a core belief that being the inherent goodness of people and nature. People are at their best when they are self-reliant and independent. Transcendentalists saw divine experience inherent in the everyday rather than believing in some distant heaven. It was a very popular movement in America, taking place after the Civil War, when people were trying to heal and trying to reckon with so much death during the war, embodying the idea that man and nature are indeed one. They read ancient texts such as the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads, and there were several famous transcendentalists who, even if you're not part of a New Thought church, are still very much in the fabric of our American history. And some of those include Henry David Thoreau, Walt Whitman, and Ralph Waldo Emerson, who preferred to be called Waldo. Waldo Emerson was an essayist, a lecturer, philosopher, abolitionist, and poet who was considered the leader of the Transcendental movement. He was seen as a champion of individualism and a critic of the countervailing pressures of society. He published dozens of essays and spoke more than 1,500 times in public lectures around the United States. In fact, once he even stopped in Salt Lake City on his way to somewhere else where he met Brigham Young. He is considered to be one of the founding fathers of this movement. To believe your own heart, he wrote, is to believe that what is true for you in your private heart is true for all men. That is genius. This is the essence of Emerson's seminal essay on self-reliance, called Self-Reliance. I became familiar with self-reliance during a class I took here at the center, led by Reverend Myrna, called The History of New Thought. And at that time, I remember reading Self-Reliance, and whilst the writing itself is almost 200 years old, and therefore contains its own way of being that is a little bit tricky for me to absorb, I definitely caught the idea that this was an individual person with some amazing thoughts, and that they certainly apply to us. Self-Reliance was originally published in 1841. Now, Emerson was a Unitarian minister, and as you know, unity is a similar philosophy to our own. He actually was also the son of a Unitarian minister. So he originally wrote this essay as a sermon. These essays and sermons could take well over an hour to read out loud to an audience, so sit tight. I'm kidding. Waldo Emerson was called the Sage of Concord in Massachusetts, and he was adored by the public. Now, a cursory glance at his writing may grate on the sensitive reader, as it is written by an extremely intelligent man whose language reflects the privilege and range of experience from a different era. Emerson made his living as a lecturer, and his authoritative tone can be read as discomfiting, even didactic. But a closer read reveals something far more meaningful and relevant. This is a meditation on what it means to be human, to have an imagination, and to use it. Emerson's writing lacks pretense, yet it bounds in spirit. His intellectual reach is capacious, but his emotional truth is unwavering. There is piety, there is poetry, but what resonates most unequivocally here is his plea for individuality, that iron string that you'll hear reference to, the sovereignty of selfhood. To read Emerson today is to rethink the flawed calculus that's led you to equate value with consensus, and to imagine instead what it might mean to hear your own voice, to heed your own motives, to hold fast to your own capacity for reason, reflection, and wonder. Now, today I'm going to read to you from Emerson's essay, but for today's purposes, I have distilled the long text to about 7 minutes. It's all from the third part of the essay, which is titled The Value to Barriers of Self-Reliance. Emerson was known for being a little bit dramatic, so I think I've got that covered. I do ask for a disclaimer, and I ask for your reasoning with me. Being a 180-year-old writing, Emerson wrote using the pronoun he to describe all people. And over the last few days, I did attempt to neutralize the gender reference, but it tended to cause to make the sentences unravel, and then if I wasn't careful, the meanings could subtly change. So I decided to just back up and recognize this writing for what it is, being such an important work and at the foundation of what we believe. So I'm going to try to deliver to you a sermon by Emerson on self-reliance. To believe your own thought, to believe that what is true for you in your private heart is true for all men, that is genius. Speak your conviction, and it shall be the universal sense, for always the inmost is the outmost. A man should learn to detect and watch for that gleam of light which flashes across his mind from within. Yet he dismisses without notice his thought because it is his. In every work of genius, we recognize our own rejected thoughts. They come back to us with a certain alienated majesty. There is a time in every man's education when he arrives at the conviction that envy is ignorance, imitation is suicide, and he must take himself for better or worse. That though the wide universe is full of good, no kernel of nourishing corn can come to him, but through his toil bestowed on that plot of ground which is given to him to till. The power which resides in him is new in nature. None but he knows what that is which he can do, nor does he know until he has tried. Trust thyself. Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. The nonchalance of boys who are sure of a dinner and would disdain as much as a lord to do or say anything to be appeased. Now that is the healthy attitude of human nature. But the man is as if he were clapped into jail by his consciousness. As soon as he has once acted or spoken with great aplomb, he's a committed person, watched by the hatred of hundreds whose affections now must enter into his own account. That he could pass again into his neutral, godlike independence. Who can observe again from the same unaffected, unbiased, unbribable, unaffrighted innocence? Now, these are the voices that we hear in solitude, but they grow faint and inaudible as we enter into the world. Society everywhere is in conspiracy against the manhood of every one of its members. Whoso would be a man must also be a nonconformist. Nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of our own minds. Absolve you to yourself. No law can be sacred to me but that of my nature. Good and bad are but names very readily transferable to that or this. And I am ashamed to think how easily we capitulate to badges and names, to large societies and dead institutions. Truth is handsomer than the affectation of love, but your goodness must have some edge to it, lest it is none. My life is not an apology. My life is not an apology, but a life. It is for itself and not a spectacle, and I much prefer that it would be of a lower strain so as to be genuine and equal rather than to be glittering or unsteady. I wish it to be sound and sweet, My life should be unique. What I must do is all that concerns me, not what the people think. This rule, equally arduous in actual as in intelligent life, may serve for the whole distinction between greatness and meanness. It is harder because you will always find those who think they know what your duty is better than you, but the great man is he who, in the midst of the crowd, keeps the perfect sweetness and independence of solitude. But do your thing, and I shall know you. Do your work, and you shall reinforce yourself. A man must consider what a blind man's bluff is this game of conformity. The other terror that scares us from self-trust is our consistency, a reverence for our past act or word because the eyes of others have no other data for computing our orbit than our past acts, and we loathe to disappoint them. Suppose you should contradict yourself. What then? It seems to be a rule of wisdom never to rely on memory alone, but to bring the past for judgment into the thousand-eyed present and live ever in a new day. Trust your emotion. When the devout motions of the soul come, yield to them with heart and life. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds, adored by little statesmen and philosophers and divines. With consistency, a great soul has simply nothing to do. He may as well concern himself with the shadow on the wall. But out upon your guarded lips. Else, if you would be a man, speak of what you think today in words as hard as cannonballs. And tomorrow, speak what tomorrow thinks in hard words again. And though it contradict everything you said today, well then, exclaimed the aged ladies, you shall be sure to be misunderstood. Misunderstood? It's a right fool's word. Is it so bad to be misunderstood? Pythagoras was misunderstood, and Socrates, and Jesus, and Luther, and Copernicus, and Galileo, and Newton, and every pure and wise spirit that ever took flesh. To be great is to be misunderstood. Fear never that you shall be consistent in whatever variety of actions, so they be each honest and natural in their hour. For of one will the actions will be harmonious, however unlike they seem. And these varieties are lost sight of when seen at a short distance, at a little bit of height. One tendency does unite them all. Consider the voyage of the best ship, which is a zigzag line of 100 tacks. This is only microscopic criticism. See that line from a sufficient distance, and it straightens out to its average tendency. Your genuine action will explain itself and will explain your other genuine actions. Your conformity explains nothing. Act singly. Greatness always appeals to the future. Be how it will, do right now. The force of character is cumulative. I hope in these days we've heard the last of conformity and consistency. Let the words be ridiculous here and henceforth. Instead of the gong for dinner, let us hear the whistle from a Spartan fife. Let us bow and apologize no more. A great man is coming to eat at my house, and I do not wish to please him. I wish that he should wish to please me. I will stand here for humanity, and though I would make it kind, I would also make it true. Let us affront and reprimand this smooth mediocrity and squalid contentment of the times, and hurl in the face of custom and trade and office this fact that is indeed the upshot of all history, that there is one great responsible spirit moving wherever moves a man, and that a true man belongs to no other time or place, but is the center of things. Where he is, there is nature. Thank you. Emerson said, history cannot bring enlightenment, only individual searching can. He believes the truth is inside a person and is the authority. He returns to one major theme over and over again, and that is to trust thyself. It reinforces the idea by saying, unless we overtake ourselves, circumstances will overtake us. Another one of the prevalent themes in this essay is nonconformity, and he states, whoso would be a man would be a nonconformist, and he counsels us to do whatever we think is right, no matter what anyone else thinks. He advocates more time being spent reflected on one's own self, and he emphasizes, no one can bring your peace but yourself. So that is a very, very short piece of self-reliance, which I do recommend to anyone. The amount of stuff that I actually cut out for this morning was a lot, but I do recommend it in its entirety. It is very amazing. So, how do you get along in your own life? Are you living your authentic life? Imagine each one of you changes, and I change. And if I take your change and my change and multiply that by all of us, that is change. That is a lot of change. Have any of you stopped to consider when you're in your own head about how your own day or how your own life is? I do this sometimes when I can think of it, to look around at even just the cars around me and think, my God, every one of these people is also having an experience just as rich as mine, albeit completely unique and different. And if each of us had our eye on positive change for ourselves, the amount of change that could accumulate in our world would be incredibly dramatic. Being your authentic self is globally beneficial because where any one of us awakens, it affects and evolves the global consciousness. The soul wants to express its beingness freely and boldly, unapologetically, to be fully what it already is. As Emerson says, we must recognize the divine in ourselves, emancipate ourselves, and be the metaphysicians who heal ourselves first. Freedom is the birthright of every individual. We are free to choose and create our own experience in life. Ernest Holmes wrote in The Science of Mind, as the inner light dawns, it delivers the outer life from bondage. This is in line with the teaching that everything is from within out. When the soul knows freedom, the law will free the body, and the outer life will express health, happiness, and success. All things work for our good. Even that which we call evil is salutary, leading us to the way, the truth, and the life. Suffering should teach us a lesson which would cause us to refrain from making more mistakes. It carries a blessing with it when we learn how to garner knowledge and experience. So we must be ourselves. We must be ourselves at any cost. The world will adapt. That to me is interesting. The world will adapt. I'm scared to be myself. Will the world adapt to even my own individual, unique thoughts? We weren't born to fit in. We were born to stand out. In the song Born This Way, Lady Gaga sings, I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Regardless of what anyone says, our unique gifts have a purpose. It's our responsibility to be ourselves. The more we express ourselves authentically, the more we inspire others to do the same. This is how we will create a world that works for everyone. To be ourselves while showing unconditional love and acceptance for others who are expressing themselves authentically. All right, from 1841 to 2021. I think you'll like this. Now, if self-reliance was a little bit too heavy, maybe this story will appeal to your tech-savvy hearts. How to Install Love by Stephen Levine. Ring, ring, ring. Tech support. How can I help you? Customer. Well, after much consideration, I've decided to install love. Can you guide me through the process? Tech support. Well, yes, I can help you. Are you ready to begin? Customer. Well, I don't know if I'm any good at this, but I think I'm ready. What do I do? Tech support. The first step is to open your heart. Have you located it? Customer. Well, yes. But there are several other programs running now also. Is it okay to install love while they are running? Tech support. What programs are running? Customer. Well, let's see. I have past hurt, low self-esteem, grunge, and resentment. They're all running right now. Tech support. Oh, that's no problem. Love will gradually erase past hurt from your current operating system. It may remain in your permanent memory, but it will no longer interfere with the other programs. Love will eventually override self-esteem with a module of its own called high self-esteem. However, you do have to completely turn off grudge and resentment. Those programs prevent love from being properly installed. Can you turn those off? Customer. I don't know how to turn them off. Can you tell me how? Tech support. With pleasure. Go to your start menu and invoke forgiveness. Do this as many times as necessary until grudge and resentment have been completely erased. Customer. Okay, done. Love has started installing itself. Is that normal? Tech support. Yes, but remember that you only have the base program. You need to be connecting with other hearts in order to get the upgrades. Customer. Okay. Oops, I have an error message already. It says, error, program will not run on external components. What should I do? Tech support. No, don't worry. It means that the love program is set up to run on internal hearts, but has not yet been run on your own heart. In non-technical terms, it simply means you have to love yourself before you can love others. Customer. So what should I do? Tech support. Easy. Click on self-acceptance and you'll see a drop-down menu. Now click on the following files: self-forgiveness, realize your worth, and acknowledge your limitations. Customer. Okay, done. Tech support. Now, copy them all into your My Heart directory. The system will overwrite any conflicting files and begin patching faulty programming. Also, you need to delete verbose self-criticism from all directories and empty your recycling bin to make sure it's completely gone and never comes back. Customer. Got it. Hey, my heart's filling up with new files, and there's a big smile on my monitor, and peace and contentment are copying themselves in my heart. Tech support. Good, that's normal. So you have successfully installed love. One more thing before we hang up. Love is shareware. Be sure to give it and its various modules to everyone you meet. They will in turn share it with others and return some pretty cool modules back to you. Customer. Thank you, God. God, you're welcome, always. Thank you. Now, I'll close my thoughts on personal authenticity and self-reliance today by asking you 3 questions. Reverend Myrna has taught me that giving homework is always a lot of fun from up here. Number 1, how often do I show up authentically? Number 2, if I were living a life of freedom, what would my life look like? And number 3, what is my soul's desire? We are what the world has been waiting for. Oh, we are what the world has been waiting for. Any challenges we've ever faced in our lives are preparing us for this moment. Now is the time to commit to showing up authentically and choose to live the life that we've always dreamed. The more we choose to live authentically, the more we inspire others to do the same. And when we show unconditional love and acceptance to others, we serve by example. If we want to see more unity, peace, and joy in the world, we have to commit to experiencing these qualities in our own lives. Thank you very much. Okay. Will you join me in prayer? Settling into our seats and into our hearts. Taking a deep breath. Relaxing and resting into the supreme knowledge that there is only one Spirit, one God, one universal thing that we call light, love, universal intelligence, all. From whatever background we come from, we know that as long as we are on a path of spiritual growth, that we are moving toward the higher manifestations of ourselves. I know that God is one, and I know that I am one with God. There is only one God. There's only one life. This life is God's life. This life is perfect. This life is my life now. I embrace all thoughts of individuality. I embrace the notion that my spirit is unique among all, and that it is good, and that it is on purpose, and that it is not a mistake. What I am is enough. I can release the condemnation and the concern over what others think of me, what the world thinks, and I can live in integrity in my own heart and in my own being. I do it easily, releasing all things that stand in my way or appear as conditions. I know that I am good, and that I am part of you and part of God. I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for the knowledge that integrity is good, that my heart is pure, and that my feelings are genuine and acceptable. I'm grateful for the philosophy that we join here together to learn and to study the science of mind. And I know that as I speak these words, that they go into the universe, and as I speak them, that they are done, and there is no more to say. And together we say, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. Sing it. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful.
We are so incredibly blessed here. Thank you, Waldo. Thank you, tech support. And thank you, Rob, for that great sharing today. So this is that time when we acknowledge the fact that we live in a divine flow, connected with the source of all our being, and that blessings come to us as we create a vacuum by giving out into the world. And so we are so very blessed in so many ways to be part of this spiritual center. I'm so thankful for all the people that came before me for the 30 or so years before I got here, and I know that what we give today is preparing the way for the people that will be coming 30 years from now, and also supporting what we're doing in the here and now. So if you will, I invite you to join me in saying together our giving affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Filled with gratitude, I let this be, and so it is.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. I've been set free, I'm released. I've been set free, I'm released. The burden of my past is gone away at last. I've been set free, I'm released. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me.
Now let's welcome back Dallas Brown. what a wonderful day today. And remembering reading what you were reading in my studies. One of the things that I've identified with is if there's total self-love, what would stop all the good we desire from coming to us? Because we're open and we would believe we are deserving because we love ourselves. So another note to self here. So let's finish with together we can change the world. Together. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world. Yeah, stand up. Lay the puzzle pieces out. Find out what it's all about. Together we can change the world. Yes.